Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Haider Shah, and on behalf of Kalwas, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have very interesting topic. I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker who is going to talk about the online learning, the 21st century approaches to education. As you know that due to pandemic we were forced to teach online, and after conducting online classes now we have the opinions whether on campus education is better or online education, because both of them have different pros and cons. So if we opt for online education, then which approaches to follow and how? So you will get the best insights about all these things as we have an expert with us in today's this session. So stay tuned because an amazing stuff are coming ahead in this session. So before we start, I would like to thank the Kalwas for arranging such enlightenment sessions, for their support and providing us such a wonderful platform. The aim of the Kalwas is to give you the opportunity to interact with world renowned speakers, teachers, authors, researchers, professionals, and businessmen to share their views, experiences, and tips, which will create an impact and will enable you to learn new things and develop yourself in order to grow individually as well as to contribute to the world at large. As our slogan is come, learn, and share knowledge. So today we have a very special guest who has a vast experience of academia as well as in industry. He is an internationally known and recognized speaker. He is a great human being who has always ready to support and contribute to the world in different ways. He's the Dean College of Computer Studies at University of Perpetual Health Molino campus. Uh, Moreover to that, he is an International Scientist Award winner in research category. Moreover, his research area of research is computer science and information technology. His educational credentials are he graduated from the different institutions. He got his Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in technology education, Master of Science Information Technology, and the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. And moreover, he holds the professional certification from the world renowned institution. He has been affiliated with the number of organizations, particularly the United Nations. And moreover, he has multiple publications and a reviewer of multiple prestigious journals. So at the same time, he's doing multiple tasks as he's multi-talented person and doing so many things at simultaneously. So today we will learn a lot from him regarding the online education, because he has been associated with the academia industry for since long time, and there is a lot of things he would tell us and he would teach us in that way. Last but not the least, he is a wonderful speaker, author, teacher, researcher, professional, and above everything, he's a great human being. So please help me in welcoming our guest, Pastor Regulus the Arguelles. Welcome to the Calvas platform, and thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon there in Pakistan and good evening here in the Philippines.
Thank
Well,
you.
I would like to sincerely extend my gratitude to the entire community of Baria Business School,
Thank
especially to
you.
you, sir, Dr. Haider Shah, for your
Yeah.
kind and warm invitation. Well, my
Thank you.
discussion this evening, I would like to share with you the
Yes.
file,
Yeah, sure.
for
Sure.
a while.
As a reminder to the audience that Prof will be presenting the slides, and he would leave time for question answer session at the end of the session. So if it is not covered in the session, so you can email us or you can write in comment section whatever question you want to ask, and then we will ask the Prof regarding that at the end of the session. So over to you, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Uh,
Thank you.
I will just share it. Okay. Can you visually see my presentation?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Now,
Thank you.
this presentation has something to do with, of course, online learning and the 21st century approaches to education. So, this is the content of the presentation that I have prepared. I would like to discuss first on the Philippine settings under the paradigm shift in education sector, and then the prospects of increase in terms of IT implementation and the instructional designing in education for continued learning, the changes that we expect in the skill requirements of students, and also the flexible learning options in the 21st century education and the meta university model. So these are the significant presentations that everyone would be able to learn this evening. Now, in the Philippines paradigm shift, let me just give you a background that we have here the trifocalization of Philippine educational system. It is composed of the Department of Education. We have also the Commission on Higher Education, who is uh, responsible in the higher education system, and also the Technical Education Skills Development Authority, or the TESDA. So the Department of Education actually launched learning platforms, no? And these are what we call the DepEd Commons, accessible to both private and public schools to help students continue their lessons. We have to remember that in our enrollment system last year, during when the pandemic starts, under the Philippine education system, we are expecting around we expected about 27 million students to enroll in the basic education system, and in terms of in the early closure of the school year in March, the enhanced community quarantine in effect, and there's still unclear future that the COVID-19 pandemic will bring. No, but of course, the Department of Education and our millions learners are facing enormous challenges. And in the classroom, we develop the ICT portals, or the alternative learning system, where the teachers work on the platform in partnership with the UNICEF, called ICT portals. So this is a portal learning resources where activity sheets were work and online tutorials for ALS teachers and learners. However, the challenges in technology access still remains for public school students. Other factors such as environment, or for example, the conducive for learning, and at the same time, the learning attitudes towards home learning and technology competence can affect learner outcomes. We all know that it is happening not only in the Philippines but around the world. And the effective use of blended learning. So learning at home also requires parent participation and support. So this is very challenging to to all our parents at home. So educations in the new normal under this particular platform will not be about operating in the environment that secures the health of students, nor will it be about completely transitioning to online modalities. So instead, it used about using technology to increase efficiency in areas with the capacity to do so. So therefore, while we are actually empowering the what we call learners and the communities to create positive learning environments in which the student can grow and will grow. So so at the same time, the Commission on Higher Education, where my industry belongs, so the Commission on Higher Education implement, of course, the flexible learning. So it is a combination of an on offline approach of teaching and learning. So in terms of using remote learning and education, or even what we call resources, in terms of digital learning, or what we call distance learning. In our country, in my country, we have what we call the Republic Act 10650, which is commonly known the Open Distance Learning Act of 2014. So it just means that in terms of mitigating the no, we are we still, I mean, we are implementing that particular, or we have to obey that particular law in terms of implementing such things in terms of online, or in terms of flexible learning. So we have to remember that in terms of fully online environment like China, Italy, France, or even Saudi Arabia, the mobile phones or televisions in Vietnam or Mongolia, these are the infrastructures that are actually uh, implementing right now. And in terms of connectivity, the teachers and administrators' familiarity with the tools and processes are also the factors in terms of distance learning in Singapore. So other countries send their children or kids with the lessons as homework. It is already done in Lebanon. So in Bulgaria, more than 800,000 accounts have been created for all teachers and parents. Publishers have been mobilized to open digital textbooks and learning materials from grade 1 to grade 10. Now, another thing that is very, challenging is that we, in terms of providing this flexible learning, we also use the national and community radio. There are some TV programs where the Department of Education is discussing things for the students, and that is one thing that those students who are in the remote areas without technology in place are gaining from that. So, and for those higher education who are using online learning, it can continue on for the succeeding years. Now, the prospects of increase of IT implementation and instructional designing in education for continued learning. This is according to ASEAN Information Center. In 2020, the internet speed, the global average is 78.26 Mbps. And the Philippines is on the 108, no? 108 rank in terms of internet speed. We have an average of 23.74 Mbps. So that is a factor in terms of, on how the government can actually provide an efficient and effective internet connectivity so that the online learning can be sustained and be utilized properly. Another thing is that in the mobile internet speeds in the world in 2020, United Arab Emirates have 170.3 Mbps, and the government spending is 435.6 million US dollars. And the Philippines is 110 rank. We have 18.49 in terms of Mbps or speed, and the government spending is zero. But under the Department of Information Communication Technology, or what we call the National Broadband Project, right now we have approximately the download time in the internet, we have 70, and in the mobile, we have 30 plus something. So that's exactly how the improvement is working in terms of preparation of this online teaching and learning. Now, in the Philippines number internet users, 2017 to 2023, the 70 million people number of internet users in the Philippines for in 2018 that belong to age group 16 years old and above. And in terms of 2023, for the in the year 2023, 50.8 mobile phone internet users will be coming up. So therefore, it means that under the project of the government in uh, empowering or in terms of improving the internet connectivity, that could also be matter in terms of mobile application or in terms of mobile using mobile technology in teaching or in terms of learning of the students. So using remote learning in education resources to mitigate loss of learning. Number one would be adopting online platforms for use in the smartphones, mobile phones, laptops, and other electronic gadgets. The publishers should mobilize to open the digital textbooks and learning materials for basic education. So in my university, we are, the learning or rather the library operations are 100% online right now. So whenever the students would like to, borrow books or have something on terms of library utilization, it is being processed online. So the national TV channels should broadcast also educational TV for basic education. I mentioned this a while ago. And the distance learning as means of mitigating for lost time in school. So the distance learning through electronic media has been around for many years actually. Way back 1970s or 80s, we have already the VHS tapes, the VCD, and in the 1990s. So the teaching method was used mostly in terms of short-term professional courses or used to actually supplement regular classroom learning for higher year students or higher education institutions in terms of specified subjects that did not require much teacher-student interaction. So in terms of changes that we expect, no, in the skill requirements of students, remember that the Generation C or Generation Alpha, we call them children of millennials. So they are the millennial students. So with this and the generations beyond and more prepared for non-classroom types of learning as they grew and adapt even the fearless in using digital technology. So in the Philippines, the Department of Education wants to harness mass media aside from online learning system in order to ensure that no child is left behind. That's why it is just, in terms of the opening of school year 2021 or 2020-2021 last year, the country does not mean, of course, necessarily that students will be coming to school. And the students work with multimodal approach. Multimodal approach. So when you say multimodal approach, they are more prepared for non-classroom types of learning as they grow adept even in terms of digital technology. So the classes can take a multimodal approach where they are looking at ICT platforms. So there are so many ICT platforms available in the online learning. We have the learning management system, or even we have the LCMS, or the learning content management system. And therefore, we use television and radio station for this. So what are the challenges in integrating ICT in today's educational system? Well, we have to accept the fact that there are some insufficient facilities. Well, those rich countries may not be experiencing this, but a country which is a country that is really not, rich in terms of providing some resources should or has some facilities that are really not good, especially the government facilities and private schools as a result of budgetary constraints. Especially right now during pandemic, many of the uh, it goes to for the purchase of vaccination or vaccine. And in terms of instilling in teachers and instructors the importance of their role in implementing ICT based learning in order to improve students' capability and skills. And another one is lack of instructors with knowledge and skills in ICT. So therefore, the government trained, especially those who are in the basic education or the government teachers, trained for them to be able to face exactly the technology and be prepared in terms of providing what the students need in providing this online modality or what we call multimodal. No. Now, some of the online learning materials are available we have in the DepEd, we have the Globe e-Library project, or what we call, or even the text to teach program. Now, in terms of flexible learning options in the 21st century, no, the flexibility, when incorporated into curriculum design, it enables people more choice in their learning. So this is a combination, as I mentioned, it is a combination of online and offline approach of teaching and learning. So this could be asynchronous or asynchronous learning. The synchronous meeting, this is a virtual classroom will use both face-to-face, online classes, and self-paced instructional modules. So teaching and learning shall provide, no, shall provide for both synchronous and asynchronous engagements of students. So synchronous or online meetings can be done through video conferencing using, of course, the Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Teams. We have the Google Meet, we have Cisco, we have WebEx, or even this platform can be used, or even other virtual media platforms that can be used. So asynchronous learning engagement, it is used to encourage when there is no real-time interaction between students and faculty or teachers as well, in terms of simultaneous conduct of virtual classes or assessment. And therefore, asynchronous learning can also be facilitated in terms of providing students with self-paced learning modules containing learning tasks and experiential engagements which are presented in portable learning packets for those who have limited or no internet connectivity. Now, this is exactly the synchronous that we are talking about, and the asynchronous, the real-time interaction. Now, the delivery models. So the delivery models is categorized by three. No, this is an approach in terms of delivery models according to the connectivity and capacity of the students. If the student has a high-level technology, and the availability of devices should be the laptop, the mobile phones, the tablets, or even the desktop or computer terminal or workstation. And if the internet connectivity is fast, the level of digital literacy is proficient, the approaches should be online learning or blended learning. If the student has medium level technology and the availability of devices is mostly available by phones or mobile phones, internet connectivity is low or poor, so the level of digital literacy should be advanced. Therefore, approaches should be macro and micro learning approach or a mix of online and offline activities. So which means we can be modular, no? Modular approach. And in terms of third category, the low-level technology, which means the availability of the devices, some mobile phones or no technology at all, the internet connectivity, no internet connection, and of course, level of digital literacy is beginner. The approaches should be self-instructional modules or mostly offline activities. So these are the delivery models according to connectivity and capacity and the approaches that we are actually implementing or executing. Now, the other delivery models work with, laboratory courses that are taught through synchronous and asynchronous frameworks using different videos and simulations from reputable sources which are uploaded on any virtual media platforms. The various forms of assessment should be conducted to determine students' progress towards these standards. And these assessments may be formative and summative in purpose. So the modules exactly work with the self-paced instructional modules that are organized in terms of learning packets in the print or digital format, which are uploaded in the learning management system in terms of asynchronous. So which means all materials are actually contained or deposited or stored already at the learning management system platform. So for students with limited or no internet connectivity, modules may be picked up in school or sent by courier. So designed with learning outcomes or pre-activity learning tasks and a post-assessment or assessment. Students will work independently on learning modules at their own pace but would need to submit this on or before the deadline set by the teachers. No? So these are very important things that we are actually working, we are actually practicing right now. Now, uh, at the same time, the formative assessments empower the professors to ascertain how well students are doing as work progresses. The summative assessments allow professors to determine how well students did at the end of a task or a job. And performance-based assessments such as portfolio, research papers, electronic exams, video recorded student reports, laboratory, clinical simulation, etc., and project-based or task-based assessments are at the same time used to evaluate students' performance. So these are the other delivery models. And the grading rubrics should be provided to students for them to be aware of the grading criteria for assignments and performance tasks. Now, this is the framework for flexible learning with different modalities for delivering instructions. It could be the virtual laboratory, asynchronous or the electronic learning, or the online learning or electronic learning as well. Now, in the virtual laboratory, the delivery of instructions is using a simulation software or even laboratory demonstration or an office schedule. Another one would be the LMS hard copy, flash drives, lecture offline, consultation, or even in the messaging app. In the online e-learning, there are lectures, classroom online, laboratory or classroom online, and consultation virtually. So these are some of the flexible learning options or modalities in terms of delivering the instruction to students. Now, another one would be the digital meta university model. No, the digital meta university model approach. This is composed of five components. No, one of those is collaborative learning technologies, utilization of learning materials. This is one thing that I have in my research right now. There are five: the course content exchange, the course content collaboration, course content co-innovation, knowledge co-creation, and collaboration learning connection. Since it is the safest way for the students to learn, this is a student-centered approach actually, and it is the best, safest way for the students to learn and the faculty members to deliver instructions nowadays. Now, uh, the objectives of the digital uh, Meta University model is to bring the collaborating universities into common digital domain, transcending the geopolitical boundaries, and also to encourage the collaborative activities at the national and international level, to set up knowledge umbrella with the collaboration of universities, institutes from within the countries and abroad. Also, to encourage the multidisciplinary research and uh, work jointly by taking the advantage of individual specializations into consideration to create powerful and multi-talented minds to handle newer challenges, to create teaching learning environment for the expansion of employment opportunities. Now, under the utilization materials in the online learning approach, these are very important. We have the printing materials, no, digital media recorded lectures, the course content video, introduction video, presentation materials, expert introduce or guest speaking engagement or materials, case studies or scenarios, educational games, simulations, and also the visualizations, student-centered content, expert blogs, open educational resources, third-party tools, software, role-playing, software and topical training, and websites. Under the collaborative learning connection, there are some approaches like number of Facebook friends or social media friends, number of academic groups joined, number of educational pages followed, a frequency of social media, and a frequency of learning management system. So these are the 21st century that not only, some countries like in India, like in Europe, in the USA, they are already using the meta university model or the common or even the digital university or smart university nowadays. So this is very important in the line of online learning and teaching nowadays. So because in terms of providing the students the what we call the international mobility, in terms of providing the research, in terms of research, in terms of uh, uh, partnership with different HEIs internationally, this is really significant because everything should be or we should be working exactly in the premise of online platform. So this, I think these are the things that I can, I already shared with you. Thank you for the attention. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prof. It was so wonderful to listen to you. And I really love the way you started it right from the flexible learning, and the concept of flexible learning itself is so important in the education nowadays. I love the your model of delivery because so many questions we received regarding the delivery model, and I will definitely ask one question which is a bit different but very much related to your delivery model. It has addressed it in a somehow, but you will, of course, your explanation will add value to it. And then I love the digital meta university model, which is so wonderful. That is something new which I learned myself as well. It is so wonderful thing. and the way you explain all these concepts, it was so easy. And that's what I say, that the expert, the beauty of the expert is what they make the difficult things in a so simple way that everybody gets understand and learn it very easily. So thank you very much for such a wonderful explanation, presentation, and most importantly, the powerful content which you have already shared with us, which we will share with the audience as well, which is very helpful for them, because the models and the techniques, and you talk about the generation as well. And I loved one thing which you have included, the statistics, particularly related to internet speed even, and how internet plays a very important role in the online education, because without internet we are unable to deliver properly. So very much relevant, very interesting presentation. Once again, thank you so much for making it so easy for all our audience. Should we start with the first question, please? Yes, Prof. Prof, can you hear us? Yes. Prof, can you hear us? Prof, can you hear us? Yes. Prof, can you hear us?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
I
So
can hear
yeah,
you,
yeah.
sir.
So now I start with the first question, which is very much related to the delivery model. They want to ask that since you have a lot of academic experience as well as the industry experience, so please tell us that in your opinion, is online learning good for school level, middle school level, or for executive level education? Or for what you mostly recommend the online education? At which level? Yes, please.
Well, as I have mentioned a while ago, that this pandemic brings up the education sector to innovate. That's my term. To innovate. Why? Because this is necessary for all levels of higher education. It could be even in a small level of higher education, middle level, or even the higher level of higher education or institution. Why? Because for us to work with the quality of education and learning, in my personal view, in providing this would work as a student-centered approach because everything can be found already in the platform where technologies are in place. The collaboration with your international higher education partner can also work inside the platform. Even the faculty members abroad who are partner of your institution can also be collaborated inside the platform. All the content management system of all the learning materials can be shared together. So for example, if I have Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, I have BAS IT, I have partners in India, in Pakistan, in US, in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Japan, or even in China, or in USA. One of the important highlights of the understanding there is to collaborate online, to discuss something online. So you don't have to invite from USA to bring them here in the Philippines to only just present something in the webinar. You can do that all online. So investment in the online platform, in the infrastructure of digital university or smart university or meta university model can also be used there. It is very important nowadays because, as I mentioned, the Generation Z or the millennials, they are more technology savvy than us. they can easily adopt technology. So there are some issues or problems that the teachers cannot find it very difficult to adapt the technology, and we have to accept that. So one of the important preparations of the higher education institution is to prepare all the teachers to be technology ready, to be technology, prepared in using this. So all the honors of the in university should invest so that the quality of learning and the quality of interconnection collaboration or interconnected collaboration should also be easy for them, because it is already like what we are doing now. We can discuss online, and if, for example, your university and my university is in partnership, we can do collaborations here in research, blah blah blah, and so forth and so on. So the Republic Act, or the law, which is in our country, the 10650, or the Open Distance Learning Act, is being used already. The mobility in terms of twinning in faculty exchange, student exchange, research collaboration, community extension services can be done even online. So this is very significant. This is very important for the students, for the institutions, and in terms of building the country as a nation in
Yes.
education.
Yes, very nicely said, Prof. And that's the beauty of the expert, that they connect the different dots in a so wonderful way so that everyone could understand it in a simplest way. Yes, of course, the role of the teachers, particularly very important. They need training, particularly to become a technology savvy, which is very much important. And secondly, which you mentioned, is very rightly said, that the collaborative purpose, that we can go for the collaboration only we have the right kind of collaboration across the universities, across the countries. And you have given a wonderful example. What we are doing is currently the same thing, that we are giving the advantage to the rest of the world to listen to us and to learn from us, because now we live in the global village, and we have the global audience, and anyone can learn from anyone. And so universities, they have to invest, as Prof has said. I love the statement that yes, they have to invest so that to build the technological savvy environment, upgrade the teachers, and then the collaboration itself is so much important. And that's what you, Prof, recommended, that yes, the pandemic has brought it and it has accelerated it, because people are now taking a lot of advantage of this technology. Very nicely said. Thank you very much for such a wonderful and elaborative answer. Prof, we have another question. This is a teacher who wants to ask a question from you. That sir, please guide us based on your academic experience, how to keep students engaged in online learning, because there is so much distraction. Your tips for that purpose? Yes, please.
Well, we have to understand that the parents or the guardians should also adhere in the participation of online learning. Okay, so we should also understand that when the students are learning at home, we have to provide them a sufficient learning environment, like, comfortable study space with the technology needed, a very good sufficient lighting, expect and prepare for technical issues that may happen at the same time, securing that the child attaches her class schedule. You have to, as a parent, we are also we are doing we have to remember that we are the primary teacher of our children during the online learning. Therefore, we have to strictly secure that this class schedule is in place. We know that. We should know that. Strict monitoring of the child's gradual improvement regularly, and continue the open line communication between the teachers and parents. And that's what we do in terms of virtual consultation. Whenever the student faced difficulties academically or academic performance, we right away call the attention of the student and the parent. We always ask their support. Maybe they may forget their role at the same time as a parent. So therefore, the parent, the teacher, and the school are working together. This is very effective. Why? Because the partnership between the teacher and the parent, once they join together, the child or the children becomes active in learning or in studying. So, unlike before, there is a freedom that the students can go there, can go around, can go to the mall, and forget that they have something to do. And that the parents are working very busy every day. And they do not forget even to ask their children what happened to your day in school. But now, pandemic brings up differently to the family, to the community, and to the learning of students. Because it brings up on how the children, the parents, and the school can work together to provide them a good quality of education. And that is what? Helping each other. And I think that is one thing that could be used in terms of, you know, it's a moral value for me. It's a great value. Because in outcomes based education, remember that we are doing three things for the students: the cognitive, we have also the psychomotor, and the affective, meaning the knowledge, the skills, and the values. And for me, as an academic person, a teacher, an administrator, the most important thing among the three in the outcomes based education is value. Once the value is high, skills and knowledge will go next. And that's very important. Working relationship with the parents and with the university and the teacher. It's very important. And if you do that, definitely you have a very good and quality graduate. And when you find the tracing study, finding out what happens to your graduates 5 years from now, 98% are working in accordance with their discipline. So that is value. Value is very important. So I hope that that question is being addressed and I answered correctly. That's, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much once again, Prof. It was so wonderful answer. Again, you have connected various things to its role of parents, particularly, and then again, what you have said is so wonderful. The knowledge, skills, and value, and you stressed on the value, which is the most important thing. And nowadays, Prof, you know, as you are working as a dean, so you know it that we look after our graduates as well, that how many of them have been placed in a reputed places, in a prestige places, and what is the ratio, and how can we improve it by taking the feedback from the industry. So very nicely again you have mentioned that yes, you have to work on these three things which will lead to all these things, because it is interrelated things which you need to take care of. So very nicely said once again. I'm really enjoying your answer, which is very elaborative and which is very wonderful. Prof, we have one wonderful comment for you, that very insightful lecture. I would like to know the difference between a learning management system and a learning content management system. So please explain this concept a little bit, please.
Okay, the learning content management system will allow things like, for example, teach courses in virtual classrooms, manage content development. So when say manage content development, materials in terms of teaching, create new courses, upload and host existing content, easily access student progress and so forth. You can also track students. It can also generate reports You can also design course timetable if you have the LCMS or Learning Content Management System. You can also create training exercises, and of course, you can also host learning forums. Well, this is similar to learning management system. So the learning management system works with uh, everything that can be worked in the management portal. So this can help the simplify administration in terms of language, in terms of your language school, and also the tutors will be able to work with everything that they need just from this one piece of software, or even into cloud-based technology. It can also create new opportunities that learners are accessing online courses from where in the world. So that's the learning management system platform. The LCMS can be also done locally, because this is your ownership. All the contents are with you. So it's up to you if you would like to extend that to your partner university abroad. So the LMS will work on that. So definitely it can also revolutionize content development. It can automate assessments, or it can even measure the progress of it. Now, some example of LCMS right now, we have Canvas. If you're familiar, we are using Canvas already. The front learners or the Moodle. We are also using Microsoft 365. No, we can also use of course, the Voluction. There's also Talent Card. So yeah, those are example of LCMS. So with e-learning modality, teachers can provide one-on-one instruction under LMS and mentoring to many students across geographical locations. So limiting class size in LMS. Okay, so it could be 50, 30. And if you have a maximum of 50, for example, for the repository, you may. But that is exactly the limitation. LCMS and LMS. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much once again, Prof. Very nicely you have mentioned, and you have given a very wonderful example to elaborate it in a wonderful way. And now I can think that how wonderful lecture you would be giving to your students, and how much they would have learned from your experiences, your knowledge, what a grip you have. It's so wonderful. Thank you very much. Because of the time limitation, let me just ask you the last question, that prof, there is one question from another our teacher. We want to ask that do improvements in educational technology lead to improvements in pedagogy? Yes, your opinion on that, please.
Come again, sir. I did not get
Yeah, the question is that if the education technology improves, does it lead to the improvements in teaching pedagogy as well, the
Yes,
teaching methods? Yes, please.
yes, yes. Under the digital learning, no, under the digital learning, if you have improved the online learning and teaching, pedagogical approach should be next after that. Meaning, it is part and parcel that when we have this online learning and teaching modalities, or online learning and teaching modes, pedagogical, or the knowledge itself will come next. Even without, or rather, even before the pandemic, there, my university, or my previous university at the same time, is already doing this, because this is one thing that attracts the industry, that the teacher or the student is technology based. When they graduated from the college or from the university, and when they apply to the IT industry or the industry itself, and where they are already prepared and they are already technology based individual, it will not be difficult. It is not difficult for the industry to adopt them or to hire them, because they are already in the digital world. So this is very significant. I will go back again that with my statement a while ago, that the millennials are really technology savvy. They can easily adapt and learn. They hate writing. They hate something that, that could lead to very slow the process. But once the technology is in place, they can actually adjust themselves to that. So again, pedagogical approach is always important in the digital learning, in the digital uh, technology, or rather in the digital university, in the meta university, or even in the smart university. So all of those three kinds or types of system that can be used or implemented by any higher education institution will be benefited by that. So I think and I believe that because when I was in the industry, one thing that we are actually looking forward for the students who will be applying for a position of a software engineer or an IT person or individual in the office is they can easily adopt the technology that we have. So the gap between the industry and the academic should be sustained. Why? Because if there is no sustainability, there will be a problem in terms of employability. So therefore, if the pedagogical or the knowledge or itself the pedagogy of the uh, mode that we will be implementing or using is there, and the industry that the student has to be employed with is prepared based on what he or she learned from the college degree, I think employment will be high. We will be uh, the reduction of unemployability will be focused. Meaning, if I have 50 students graduated from my university and 48 of them were employed, definitely there is no problem in terms of implementing this under pedagogical mode. So that's all, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much once again, Prof. It was so wonderful answer, and I really enjoy the way you are answered. It is so wonderful. Thank you very much for such a elaborative answer. Since it's a wonderful talking to you, so we would request again for another session with you because I found it very interesting. And as I mentioned earlier, that I was super excited for this session because we see you while contributing to the world in a different on the different platforms, and I love listen to you, and the way you are contributing is so wonderful. Thank you very much for what you are. And in the last, I would ask that please, Prof, what is your message to the world as teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, professional, and educator? Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, uh, as an educationist, as an educator, as a teacher, and as academic administrator, the passion of teaching is significantly embraced me. The advocacy of helping children becomes my passion way back 2007 when I got sick. I promised God that when he heals me, I will send back the things that he has done to me. So it happened. So let's love our job as a teacher because we are building exactly the person. We are building exactly a good family. We are building exactly a good nation. And if we are building those things, three things, we are building ourselves close to God. That's all. Thank you.
Once again, very nice message to the world. So wonderful, really a superb presentation, the superb explanation, and the superb content which you have mentioned is so wonderful. At the end, I would say that yes, indeed, the role of online learning in 21st century is so much important. What the distinguished guest speaker has already mentioned, right from flexibility learning to the different models, and then the digital meta university model as well, and all the question answers were so worthwhile and so knowledgeable. Thank you very much, Dean, for that wonderful presentation as well. To the audience, I would say that do follow the distinguished guest speaker through his research work, and you can email him for future learning and guidance. He is very generous and always ready to help the people. Moreover, a wonderful explanation, powerful content which the great speaker has already elaborated will help you to learn and develop your understanding regarding the online education and how to be more effective in that. Take advantage of all the information, important tips, and suggestions shared by the expert. So that's all we have time today. Thank you once again to Pastor Regulus Arguelles. I hope I have mentioned your name rightly and announced your name rightly. Moreover, I would also like to thank our audience who joined us. Please, if you have any additional question about information shared today, email to us or you can connect to the speaker directly through his email or social media. Thank you all for your support and liking our sessions. Stay tuned because amazing sessions are on the way. Don't miss any session. So till next session, take care of yourself. Bye